friend of the show, Pete Hegseth.
Mr. Hegseth.
He decided to get on Twitter himself. Real. This is not a staffer tweet. Just get on Twitter himself and retweet a clip from a CNN profile of these two men.
Okay.
Can you guess what the profile may be about?
So he retweeted the clip?
He retweeted the clip. He quote tweeted the clip. He didn't even retweet it. He quote tweeted it. He quote tweeted it, and his commentary was an endorsement of the clip.
Okay.
He said, "All of Christ for all of life."
Oh, well, surely it's got to be something wholesome, something Jesus would have wanted.
Something Jesus would have wanted for sure.
Uh-huh.
Should we play the clip?
I guess we got to play the clip.
I guess we should play the clip. Let's look at this.
And says in his vision of a Christian society, women as individuals shouldn't be able to vote. His fellow pastors Jared Longshore and Toby Sumter agree.
In my ideal society, we would vote as households. And I would ordinarily be the one that would cast the vote, but I would cast the vote having discussed it with my household.
But what if there's your wife doesn't want to vote for the same person as you?
Right. Well, then that's a great opportunity for a good discussion.
There are some who have gone so far as to say that they want the 19th Amendment repealed.
I would support that. And I'd support it on the basis that the atomization that comes with our current system is not good for humans.
He is the head
the atomization
of our household. And
when women are allowed to have opinions, the household falls apart.
The fact that women have civil and political rights.
The fact that women can self-determine at least a little bit.
It isolates us, man. It's not fair.
It's ruining the nuclear family when the man can't dominate his household. You guys don't understand this. And that's what the Secretary of Defense is getting in here. He's the one guy that's clear-headed throughout this whole thing, willing to tell us how it really is. And that's how it really is.
You know, for the people that are always hearkening to the past, talking about making America great again, talking about holding on to our traditions, they hold on to a tradition that is surprisingly recent.
Yeah.
The development of the nuclear family was something that happened around like the 50s.
Yeah.
It is very much a temporal thing. This is not like a long tradition in American history. The whole wife and 2.5 kids or whatever, that is not, that's a pretty new thing.
It's like wholly unnatural as well.
Yeah.
Like nothing about the nuclear family screams found in nature like they like to claim so many things are. It is the most constructed family structure you could come up with. Animals just leave their kids to go. They have them and leave.
And I feel like this strand of thought, basically this ideology that would disenfranchise women in mass, used to be, I thought, like relegated to the fringes of the Republican Party or the conservative sphere. And nowadays it has a position in government in Pete Hegseth at the very least.
One of the top positions in government, just out here, just full with his full chest getting out here and saying that women should not have the right to vote. Just calling for a theocracy.
Yeah,
calling for a Christian-led country. I think another part of that clip, maybe I didn't play it, maybe it was in there, was a part where one of the pastors or guys just gets out there and said, I want a Christian country. I want Christian government. I want Christian family. I want everyone to be Christian.
Yeah, but like which kind of Christian though?
There's so many of you.
There's so many denominations.
There's so many. Are we talking Catholic, Protestant? What is it?
And even within denominations, there's more liberal and more conservative aspects of like, it genuinely just depends on where you are.
Exactly.
In the country.
Yeah, doesn't everybody like hate Catholics?
Yeah, of course everybody hates the original Christians.
Exactly.
The Protestant Reformation and whatnot. Like, if we're gonna do Christian nationalism, you got to be clear about what kind of Christianity.
Yeah,
because like obviously they're talking about not Catholic. Like the guys who are talking about
they're
Christian
talking.
theocracy.
They're not even talking about a denomination. The guys that are talking about Christian theocracy are talking about I want to make the rules for everybody, and I want to say that God made the rules and not me.
Yeah, women should be legally subservient to me, and I should be able to brutalize black and brown people. Is what they're saying. Like,
exactly.
That's what Christian nationalism is, and it's them saying that I want the state to rule over everybody in accordance with what my beliefs are in particular.
Well, it's funny because a lot of these Christian nationalists, their version of Christian nationalism is just whatever's in vogue with the culture war and also hating women and also wanting women to be just wholly beneath them, dude. Because later on in that clip too, in like 30 seconds after the portion I just played, they go on to say, yeah, and I don't think trans people should be in the military. What did God have to say about that? When did Jesus come down and say, I've just turned water into wine, and also, speaking of things you can't turn into other things or can turn into other things, you should not be able to change your gender.
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes they say, like, you know, you were given your body by God and you shouldn't desecrate what God gave to you, but then it's like, you shouldn't get a tattoo. You shouldn't cut your hair. You shouldn't, honestly, you shouldn't even be wearing clothes covering up what God gave you. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. It's nonsense.
Like, you're telling me Jesus turned water to wine, but I can't change a pronoun? It's like I can't change something that's constructed.
I can't
socially.
Exactly. I can't identify a little bit different.
I can't identify. Like, these things are just given to me.
These dudes suck, dog. Oh my god.
And it's what a government that we have. More on this later.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Welcome back to martial law.
Yes.
We are under curfew. Don't be seen past 11 if you're in DC.
Don't be seen past 11. No political commentary past 5 o'clock.
Don't be seen in DC, quite honestly. That's the situation we're in right now. Of course, this episode we'll be talking about the occupied District of Columbia.
Yeah.
We'll be talking a little bit about Israel and Gaza. I've got some stuff in here later. Cuomo crash out.
Cuomo crash out?
It was beautiful, and we will get into that.
And an easy bit of tariff, but as we all say, nothing ever happens.
So that's what we'll be focusing on a little bit later. But first, got to remind you all, got to beg you all, got to plead with you to give tithe. Go over to the Patreon, patreon.com/headintheofficepod, and become a patron, early access to all of our content over there. And you could join the postcard list, and you can help us get to our wonderful, beautiful goal.
Yeah, and then you can get stickers and postcards.
And
what more could you ask, really?
And quite frankly, like, we hit this goal, who knows what comes next?
The world is your oyster.
Oh my God, dude! It's a blank canvas. You can have it all.
You could hit us with suggestions, maybe, possibly.
Yeah,
or maybe we got ideas locked and loaded.
You could also get some merch at headintheoffice.com. You could check out YouTube. You can watch us on video on Spotify and YouTube nowadays.
That's
all the
cool.
links in the description. And lastly, you can leave a 5-star review.
One of the
Apple
most
Podcasts.
enduring ways to support the show. And this episode,
Yep.
we got 5.
5.
We got 5, starting with Al Sarif, my number 1 podcast. First, let me start by saying that I condemn Hamas and all forms of political violence.
Yep.
This 5-star review has been long overdue. Jeremy and Gage have always brought a heartwarming perspective to politics that I greatly appreciate. I started listening to these quirked up white boys in October of 22 during my junior year of college. As a Californian from a small conservative town, I've seen many of my peers fall into conservatism. Hiddo has always been a blessed reminder that young leftists still have a voice in this country. As a recent college graduate with a degree in astrophysics who's openly queer, the current administration has made it clear they don't wish for me to succeed. Hiddo is keeping me hopeful through these trying times and is my favorite source to stay up to date. Big endorsement on that.
Huge.
Sadly, I am one of the OG Wednesday weenies. However, with 2 glorious episodes a week, I think it's time I join the Monday mandate.
Agreed.
Although I will miss the way Gage says grr during the commercial break. Cannot recommend these boys more. Gold star. Oh,
I mean, we can always send you the audio of our commercials if you want them.
that's true. It should be on Discord soon, maybe eventually.
You can always go back and take a listen
Take a listen
to any episode with those commercials in it.
Pop open the YouTube. You know where they'll be.
This next one from The Proletarian, Rise Up. They say, thank you guys for all you do in keeping up the fight. As a union contractor in Ohio, I am adrift in a sea of red, but I am determined to make the Reds great again by unifying my comrades for a future fight. I think I'm forgetting something, but it probably was not that important. Wow.
Crazy.
I condemn Hamas and all political violence.
Oh my goodness, ridiculous. In today's political climate, really? Wow. This next review from Herman Cain's 999 plan. Very informative and entertaining. Something, Hamas, something, white boys from Michigan.
Real.
Real.
Next one from Ang Bam with Noodles. Good for your health, they say. As a hospice social worker, it means a lot to me to have something to listen to on the road that makes me smile in between visits. Being around death all day, every day really makes you need some positive energy, and I definitely found it in these boys. Between Hiddo and Hassan, it's possible that I may be the wokest MF on the planet. Heavy on that.
Big on this.
And it says heavy on that in the review.
Let's go.
I strongly suggest listening to this podcast if you feel like being more informed without the feeling of utter doom. Thank you for making my healthcare heart feel a little less heavy. Free Palestine.
Oh, heavy on that.
Truth. We got one more here. You got it?
We got one more here. This one from Toggle Goggle. Heavy on this podcast. First things first, I condemn Hamas and all political violence. This pod is so good that I logged into Apple Podcasts just to leave the review. Gage and Jeremy give great political commentary while not spiraling into the doomerism that has consumed a lot of the left these days. Big thank you from Philly to my favorite Midwestern boys.
Big on that. And now we got 3 reviews from Spotify to run through real quick. Just a reminder, if you want to write us a comment on Spotify, we can't check if you actually review it, but if you rate it 5 stars on Spotify, that'd be great. We're kind of running an honor system over here.
We can't literally check, but we know.
But it would be great if you went and left a comment and rated us 5 stars on Spotify. These ones from our previous episode last Thursday or last Friday for the freeloaders. Time to write my first review. I have been a loyal Hito head for the past 3 years, from when I was working in Newsom's Marxist hellscape, California, to where I am now as a PhD student in the capital of Cheeseland, Wisconsin. It's good to always stay informed on the issues, and I'm at the point where there is now so much Hito that I'm actually behind on episodes, which is weird, because I used to devour them every day they came out. Keep up the good work, boys. I condemn Hamas.
Damn, we'll keep devouring.
Yeah. Thank you, Ben Ostro, for that review.
Wonderful, wonderful. This next one, Aiden Middleton. Podcast review, the #1 podcast. Hello, Jeremy and Gage. Firstly, and obviously, I condemn both Hamas and political violence. I'm a window washer from Vancouver, Canada, and basically hang off buildings on ropes all day, cleaning rich people's windows and listening to podcasts. After discovering the boys on TikTok a month ago, I have binged the pod. I now eagerly await every new episode so I can know what my opinions are supposed to be for the week. Thank you, Hiddo. P.S. YouTube Shorts is a hellscape. I wholly endorse that last statement as well. I condemn YouTube Shorts.
I do. YouTube Shorts is terrible. Lastly, from MJ Mike, as a Michigander from Grand Rapids, great to be represented by you two. I also condemn Hamas and all political violence. Keep up the great work. 100 out of 10.
100?
100 out of 10. 100 out of 10. Thank you for leaving those reviews. If you want your review read, you absolutely know where to go. And now we got to talk about a military takeover.
Yeah, we do have to talk about DC being occupied by the federal government before GTA 6 comes out. DC being federalized, like, once again. We really here to talk about everything going wrong.
Just roaming militaries in the street.
Talk about military checkpoints in DC, having to bust out your ID, 7 p.m. curfews.
It's
not looking good.
Type shit you encounter in, like, D&D.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
This stuff's not supposed to happen in real life, guys.
It's not very fun.
Yeah.
It's type shit I do in my evil campaign. My, but we got to start this. So first off, Sunday night, a defense official, I think anonymously, told the news that Trump was considering deploying 1,000 National Guard soldiers to Washington, D.C. And then today morning, the day of this record, Trump announced he's sending 800 National Guard troops and federalizing the D.C. police force, leaving them under Pam Bondi's control.
800 is crazy. It was crazy.
That's a lot of guardsmen.
It was wild when he sent 2,000, 3,000 to Los Angeles. Yeah. DC is much smaller.
10 square miles, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is so much smaller, both in population and geographic size. 800 in DC, that is insane.
And then they got a soldier for everybody that lives there.
And then, of course, Pam Bondi running the fucking DC police is also crazy.
She's an attorney.
Yeah.
What does she know about running police?
A bad one at that.
What is she, a really bad attorney, a morally compromised attorney, knows nothing about being a chief of police, running the operations of police. But, I mean, realistically, we all know that Pam Bondi's not actually going to be running the operations of the police. Yeah. Either this is going to be something that falls flat on its face and they just talk about how super cool they are and how everything worked, because for reasons I'll talk about later, or somebody else will just do it and she'll just say yes to whatever Trump wants.
Yeah.
They'll just station police at literally every corner.
That's what it seems like it's going to be, is Pam Bondi just sort of like being the figurehead.
Yes.
And then passing down
and
whatever
ultimately
orders.
The fall guy.
Yeah, maybe the fall guy. But I don't know that there's going to be much fall here. I think the goal is just put homeless people in a concentration camp or just a wood chipper.
Big on putting homeless people in a concentration camp.
Arrest a bunch of black teenagers.
I didn't write too much about that in the show notes, but that has been something that's going on. It's kind of slipped under the radar. Just for me personally. Apparently Trump did an executive order about a month ago, or maybe it was in May or March, one of the M months, that just said, yeah, you can institutionalize homeless people without their consent now.
Oh yeah, and thank you, Supreme Court, for allowing us to do that. And then I know we're going to get into his statements in a little bit, but he said all homeless people need to leave DC.
Yeah.
Trump said all homeless people need to leave DC.
Where are they going to go?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
He said, to be fair, he did say we will relocate you to another place that's far away from the Capitol, but it's
the other place is going to be a mental hospital. Well, what we used to call a mental hospital, which is a torture camp.
Yeah. Well, and that's what it's going to be. You're relocating. First of all, forcible relocation.
Yeah.
Surely that won't be violent. Second of all, yeah, where the fuck are you going to put them? I didn't know you were investing into homeless shelters.
No, literally. I don't. Where are the funds of the homeless shelters in the big beautiful bill?
Yeah,
I don't know. This is probably what him and Eric Adams were chopping it up about back when they were on the calls. He's like, "I'll pardon you. Tell me how you deal with this."
Yeah, it's this idea that homeless people, one, choose to be homeless, and two, choose where they are. Mm-hmm. It's they don't have a home.
Yeah.
That's why they're out on the street. They're not nobody willingly goes out and sleeps on the street. Everyone would rather have a bed and a roof over their head, but they don't. Mm-hmm. And then telling them that they have to leave or they have to move out. It's what the fuck are you talking about? It all stems from this I don't know, mentality that a lot of Americans have where it's like, if I see homeless people, that means something bad is happening.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just don't have any compassion.
And then you get into the whole conversation about like, oh, homelessness in Democrat-run cities, California, overrun with homelessness. It must be something to do with blue leadership. And never the other side of the argument with it's actually something to do with how these cities aren't actively like killing homeless people.
Yeah.
That's why you have more homeless people flocking to them. Maybe there are more homeless people in D.C. because D.C. offers better amenities. Typically, blue areas just offer better services to homeless people that don't make life even more miserable than it already is to just be homeless.
Yeah. And then on top of that, like blue cities don't do enough about the housing issue to begin with, or
Yes.
they don't have like the capacity to. It's a complicated issue, but it's not solved by like putting them in a wood chipper.
No, and it's crazy because like Democrats suck in many ways, as we've talked about so many times
Frequently.
throughout the 228 episodes of this podcast. And because Democrats suck, because Democrats can't lead, because they don't ever want to stand on business and stick to anything, we do get these kind of hash measures when it comes to dealing with things like homelessness, where, oh, maybe we allocate more funds to the shelter, but maybe they're handled by a private-public partnership, and that extracts a lot of the wealth out of there, or maybe it cost fucking $20,000 to build one tiny home unit here when a private, or if the public wasn't being just absolutely extracted for all the value that they had in these contracts, you could pay for way cheaper. You know what I mean? Like, if liberal government could actually govern and get things done, like, forcefully, but not in the way that Trump's doing, not that kind of forcefully, just like, you know, put some skin in the game, put a little swag behind your step.
Put the abundance guys in charge.
Ezra Klein in there and see what happens. Honestly, it would maybe even be a little bit better than what we have now, but not too much. Then you wouldn't have conservatives who are able to come in and say, okay, let's kill them.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just kick them out. Let's make them homeless somewhere else.
Yeah, one group doesn't really want to like take the time to fix it, and the other's like, let's kill them. Let's hunt them for sport.
Because like and it's kind of funny too, because it's like, okay, if you go in and you do military dictatorship in all these blue Democrat-run cities across the country that have like a homeless problem, where are you going to push them out to?
Yeah.
If you don't just forcibly put them in a prison, you push them into the red areas?
Yeah, and you're not doing anything about the like
shit, buddy, conservative run leadership.
Yeah, you're not doing anything about like the economic conditions that put them there in the first place.
Yeah.
Which of course is the deeper issue. Anyways.
Me when liberal and I can't govern. Me when liberal and I can't govern, and that's the root cause of all my problems. What can I say? But Trump has been complaining about DC kind of forever. Yeah. But this escalation is specifically because one of the original Doge staffers, you remember when that was the thing, literally like who went by the name Big Balls on LinkedIn, got beat up in what they're calling like an attempted carjacking. Yeah. And it's like, before we get into the rest of the story and how like optically bad this is and how materially bad that this could be if things go wrong or right, depending on who you are, I got to take a moment to talk about how fundamentally absurd it is that a guy who wasn't qualified to be in government ever at all was put in place by like some billionaire because he had connections, and goes by, and it's a guy who goes by Big Balls online. Yep. Got beat up in just a random act of crime. I condemn crime. And that could be DC's Reichstag fire.
Yeah, it really, that's what I was thinking. Like, this is the pretext for them cracking down on DC. They'd already been doing some stuff. I believe like after Big Balls got his ass beat, it was like, there was like a 7-day.
Oh yeah, I'll get into that.
Like a curfew. Yeah. But even before that, Trump had been doing some weird shit with DC. Like you said, he's hated DC for a long time because blue city and they don't like him. But yeah, no, it's fucked up.
It's so fucked up. It's crazy. And this literally was the impetus for what's going on. Yeah. Trump talked many times. He put his words behind it. He said at the press conference, this Doge staffer, he got beat up, and this is why we're doing this. This is why we're descending 1,000 ICE agents onto the city.
Yeah, even if it's not quite the burning of the Reichstag, it's going to be like, I don't know, a prelude to it maybe. Like this will create conditions where more people are willing to do acts of violence, perhaps against law enforcement, and then that leads to further crackdowns. Because you're like instigating people, you're riling them up, you're making them aggressive. When you do a military occupation of a population, they're going to resist it. Yeah, and that authorizes more violence against them in the future.
That's not fun for anybody.
Yeah.
It's not fun for anybody, man. It's ridiculous. And it's like, I don't just say like the whole Reichstag fire thing and the implications that comes with, because of just the thought of what the guardsmen will do entails when they finally get on DC, which Pete Hegseth said it will be within this week. That the guardsmen like boots on the ground in DC. Wicked statement already.
Yeah,
right
I already saw like the ATF and FBI guys are already out patrolling.
Yep, they've been out for the last week, but it's
Fucking
also because of
squad,
the reality of what.
Be careful, y'all.
Short King watch.
Short King's gonna pull up on you and ask if you got your fucking insurance updated.
It's crazy. Please go to our Twitter. It's so crazy, that video that you fucking quote tweeted like.
the girl running.
Wow, way to make DC look like a scary place. A young female running on her own in a park and a gang of like 5'5" ATF officers walking by her. Wow, I bet she feels really safe running by that.
Yeah, there was like one dude of average height, and then the rest of them were short as hell. And they had their big fucking. They probably had guns on them. They had their bulletproof vests. Like, dude, you look stupid.
And it's like there's so many other things you could have found to show that to create the illusion to do the signifier that DC looks bad and DC is a awful crime-ridden hellhole. The one thing that you can never post a video of to say that DC is bad is a woman jogging alone.
A nice time running in the park.
In the daytime.
The sunshine, yeah, exactly. Nobody's doing anything bad. Like, this isn't the imagery with the dudes with the Mexican flag and burning shit with smoke in the background.
Yeah,
this
it's not the hard-ass
running.
pictures.
Yeah.
This is like Getty Images, like stock video type shit.
Yeah, this is like if you live in a city, you walk outside, you'll see the same scene. Except minus the 5'5" dudes.
This is B-roll that you'd have playing while you talk about like hope and change. That's what we aspire to be like, minus the cops though.
It's like, what a fucking waste of taxpayer money just having these dudes walk around some random public park. What are we doing?
Mob deep too, just for fun, broad daylight. But fucking whatever. Last Thursday, Trump announced that there was going to be a 7-day crackdown on crime in the city, including the deployment of federal officers from the FBI, ATF, ICE, and other Homeland Security departments, as well as just other agencies like the Federal Park Service and whatnot. I think they deployed 600 like federal agents to do this. Some of them being from the FBI.
Yeah, FBI.
So it's like
present
under Kash Patel's leadership. We got the FBI agents taken off of actually looking at human trafficking and put on taking Trump's name out of the Epstein files.
Scrubbing thousands of documents.
And now we have FBI agents being taken off of, I don't know, looking for murderers and terrorists and human traffickers and posted up in parks in DC. And that's the better use of federal time and resources.
Yeah, driving around DC in the daytime.
There's the waste, fraud, and abuse. If you ask me, dude, it's fundamentally ridiculous.
To abolish the FBI? We had so many people after the Mar-a-Lago raid abolish the FBI.
We bought a hat. We gave a conservative money.
Yeah, I got it still somewhere around here.
Like we gave him $2, but I still have my abolish the FBI hat from Perry Johnson.
Yeah. That shit banged. I thought maybe we were gonna get like a conservative anti-law enforcement arc, and of course it didn't happen.
There was a real moment, but instead they put podcasters in place. God, we have more power than I thought.
I know, man.
I never could have imagined the position that podcasters would be in now.
Next Democrat better start, instead of pulling from like the strategist or the pool of people in the media that Democrats usually pull from, they better tap us for a position in government.
Yeah. Because the conservatives are fundamentally unserious in doing that. The Democrats need to be too. Because that's
no consultants, no strategists, no like career officials, podcasters.
Yeah, that's what it is,
and people from your favorite news show.
But we do need to get the podcasters out of the press pool, though.
Yeah, yeah. It's bad.
I listened to the whole press conference this morning. This is just a brief aside. And the first question that Trump gets asked after he talks about how he's doing a military dictatorship in D.C. was something along the lines of, Mr. President, with your experience and all the good things that you do you think that the rot within D.C. is reflective of the rest of the country? Or something about the beautification. Do you think that how ugly and how much trash is in the streets of D.C. is reflective of the rest of this country? And Trump's like, oh, yeah, for sure. And then he goes on a 5-minute rant.
Trump should be tried at The Hague for what he did to the Rose Garden.
Dude, a concrete slab?
A concrete slab over like grass and flowers and shit?
Then he has the audacity to get on and say, I know real estate. I know how to make things look good.
Somebody said that like what fascists do to architecture is meant to drain the life out of you. And that is so true.
Absolutely,
like,
dude.
Jesus Christ.
And what podcasters do to press pools is fucking gawk on it, you know?
But not if they put us in charge. It's just a certain kind of podcaster.
No, exactly. Critical support to podcasting. Like, I get the comments that we get. I get why people come to our comments and are like, oh, two guys who should have podcast equipment.
Yeah,
because
the
bar's so low.
I understand the bias. I do. I get it.
I do, because these guys, they're insufferable. But anyway, we got ATF, we got DEA, we got FBI, we got ICE, we got Homeland Security, we got Park Service, we got probably literally any federal agency that has an agent that can arrest you for anything. Posted up in DC, making good use of their time, making a real good use of their time. And while that's happening, the Post, which I think is the Washington Post, reported that the Trump administration has not coordinated with DC police to figure out at all how to best deploy the federal officers across the city, which is just because they don't care how to best coordinate the federal law enforcement officers throughout the city. A serious administration, if there was a serious, like real bad instant spike in crime problem and you needed to allocate more agents to fill a need in policing or whatever the fuck is going on, would be coordinating with that police. they're not, because they don't need to be. This is solely about the aesthetics of the thing that they're
100%,
doing.
yeah.
This is solely so that Trump can get at these press conferences. They can go on Truth Social. They can go on Twitter. And they can say, I am bringing the hammer of justice down on these awful, crime-ridden, Democrat-run cities.
It's just like what they did with Los Angeles. I mean, they deployed 2,000 Marines or something like that to Los Angeles, or it might have been a couple hundred, then all the National Guardsmen. But, of course, they are military. They can't make civilian arrests. So they were just wasting their time standing there.
They were just standing behind the FBI agents or whatever.
As the FBI agents or LA police
cops,
would go in and like make the arrests, and they would just encircle them. Just a waste of fucking time. It's just a show of force. It's meant to intimidate people, and maybe to some extent meant to rile them up and get them to react.
Oh, for sure.
But that kind of thing is sort of just inevitable. There's no like, because sometimes when this kind of shit happens, it happened with LA, there'll be people that get out there and say, like, we shouldn't give in to what the Trump administration wants here, right? Like, they want us to get angry. They want us to react so they can justify more violence. They're going to keep doing violence.
Oh, yeah, literally.
You should push back.
Dude, this was one instance of a random crime, which I condemn crime. I'm not saying the crime is good. I may not like fucking Big Balls. I may not like what Big Balls did. I don't think he should have got beat up in a carjacking. You know what I'm saying? But they will take literally any instance of a crime, which will inevitably happen no matter what. We live in a society. And they will use that to do the most heinous thing. They will find any excuse that they can, no matter how bottom of the barrel it is, no matter how hard they have to dig for it. They will find it, or they'll just lie and make it up.
Yeah, they'll just lie and make it. I mean, they're lying about crime stats right now, which I know we'll get into in a bit. But like, he will lie about whatever he wants as a way to push the narrative he wants. Like, it's at the end of the day, it's not going to matter if you don't push back. They're going to keep pushing anyway. So you might as well get out there and protest.
But I condemn political violence.
I do condemn political.
I condemn political violence. Yeah.
I condemn everything. Blanket condemnation here, folks.
It's big on that. But like, speaking, so we get hundreds of federal agents into DC to start doing this just week-long crackdown on crime, ramping it up, really. We're making the criminals afraid. We're making them stay inside. What does the White House have to say about their efforts, since we now have, I think, like, we're 4 days in? We had the weekend to see what's happened. What do you think White House spokespeople are saying about this?
Probably that we're the strongest country in the world. Crime rates dropped to zero.
Basically, White House spokesperson Abigail Jackson told Axios, quote, "In just a few nights, President Trump's bold actions to make D.C. safe again have already removed dangerous weapons and illegal drugs from D.C. streets. And that's not even taking into account the countless potential crimes that were deterred thanks to a large, visible law enforcement presence." And while we consider National Guard deployments and Pam Bondi running the DCPD, I think you can tell that the important part about that statement is the last part. It's the part where she says, we didn't even necessarily do anything, but because the cops were there, people didn't do anything.
We're doing Minority Report shit.
Literally. Literally. And it's just like, thank us, the administration, for saving you from untold horrors this weekend. We don't, the criminals that run DC streets could have been out there in the streets building nuclear weapons. But because we had FBI agents posted up at the fucking park, they didn't do that. And you need to thank us endlessly for that.
Yeah, and all of this, again, and the pretext is that there was one carjacking of a high-profile former Doge staffer.
Yes.
Like, that's all this was. And, like, the biggest issue in terms of D.C. crime at the moment is just the carjackings. Like, that is a problem insofar as crime statistics are a problem for D.C. But other than that, crime is down.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason for this at all. There's no reason for this at all.
Dude, it's so fundamentally absurd, dude. And it's like, this is why it's just about the aesthetics. They're just fucking paying law enforcement. Some of those ICE guys, who knows, maybe they're the people that got the $50,000 sign-on bonus, no college degree, or they're getting their student debt wiped, getting to go sit in the park in DC and then say that they're heroes for deterring untold criminal hordes from coming into the street to kill you on a jog. It's fucked up. And that's not even where, like, these statements are crazy, because while we have that talking about, like, the crackdown effort, we also have friend of the show, Stephen Miller, coming on and just saying some of the most heinous shit. He said on News Nation that DC was, quote, more violent than Baghdad.
Yeah, all right, man.
Wicked statement for so many reasons. So many reasons. Like, really?
First of all, invoking Baghdad, relax. Second of all, just wrong.
Like, I know that I know what you're relying on. I know what biases you're relying on when you evoke Iraq there. Why is Baghdad like that?
Like, the entire Republican Party is just built on fear of cities. Like, so many suburbanites that are just terrified of walking into a city. They're treating the fucking subway system in DC like it's a fucking Elden Ring dungeon or something. They're gonna die if they walk in.
You know, I went to New York in January for just a weekend trip and whatnot. And fucking so many people like told me like, oh, be careful on the subway, stay away from the subway. Brother, nothing happened. I took the subway everywhere, and it was chill, and it was great, and it got me around the city. Yeah. Obviously, there are things that happen on the subway. Obviously, there are incidents that happen. Obviously, there are uncomfortable things that happen, people jerking off on the subway and whatnot. But, like, as somebody who was visiting the city, I didn't experience anything uncomfortable on the subway. It doesn't happen like that. It's not that fucking pervasive, at least as a visitor to the city. And I feel like that's an experience that a lot of people have, and it just speaks to the thing we've been talking about a while, where it's like, if you just experience something, you won't be afraid of it. If a lot of the conservatives that got out there and complained about trans people knew a trans person, they would not give a shit about being a culture warrior for trans issues, because then they're humanized.
And so much of this is racially coded, right? It's not a mistake that Los Angeles was targeted with a high population of people of color, and now DC is being targeted, which is specifically a pretty black city on the whole. So like it's they rely on the racial undertones of how they talk about cities to scare people into being in support of military occupation. And that sucks.
Because this is a military occupation.
Straight up, like there's no other way to describe it.
What is it? It's the National Guard being deployed. The National Guard, like, is the military. They are. It's not like a separate thing, you know what I mean?
They deployed Marines on civilians in Los Angeles.
Pete Hegseth even said he's willing to deploy, like, armed services, like Army, Marines, whatever it is.
Of course he
like,
is,
he's willing to deploy those people if the situation gets bad enough. And the situation will get bad enough if Trump feels like the situation, he wants it to escalate.
It's just crazy. Like, there's not even protests here. Like, the reason they descended upon LA is because there were protests against ICE.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
There was just one individual instance of a crime happened. Yeah. And it just happened to be to somebody that the administration knew, where that was a part of the administration. And now they're cracking down.
Yeah.
It couldn't be more obvious and in front of your face, dude. Trump said on Truth Social, he called for minors as young as 14 to be prosecuted as adults and declared, quote, if this continues, I'm going to exert my powers and federalize the city. I mean, he already basically did that with the federalization of the DCPD. But minors as young as 14 being tried as adults?
You're making criminals for life out of these people.
Exactly.
Like there are so many studies that show if you treat juveniles like fucking criminals and you put them through the system and you punish them even as adults, then they will just go out and reoffend, because of course they would.
Yeah.
Like you're treating them like fucking animals.
Like, guys, we do not have good recidivism rates.
Yeah.
And there's a reason we don't have a good recidivism rates.
They're not interested in stopping crime. They're interested in brutalizing people and looking strong. Type shit the Nazis did.
It's an aesthetic thing, because that's all they care about. They have no substance. Trump does the terrorists because he wants to project a strength that he doesn't have, and he does these military things because he wants to project a strength that they don't have. He wants to project control over a population that he doesn't really have control over, and then he wants to use things like, I don't know, fear to get more control over that population.
Especially in these blue cities,
He still is going on about just like DC. He keeps escalating the rhetoric about it. On Monday morning, today, before the press conference, he tweeted out a truth on Truth Social saying, Washington, D.C. will be liberated today. Crime, savagery, filth, and scum will disappear. I will make our capital great again. The days of ruthlessly killing or hurting innocent people are over. I quickly fixed the border. 0 illegals in the last 3 months. Right. D.C. is next. Thank you for attention to this matter, President DJT.
Dog, we can't believe a single statistic that they cite now, because they just fire the people if they don't like the numbers.
And they fired the DC guy too. I'll get into the DC numbers in a little bit, but Trump said at the press conference, he said, oh, he's gone now. He was publishing fake numbers. He's gone now. We'll get new numbers to you quickly.
Yeah. And what they're going to show is it was a 1 billion% increase in crime beforehand, and after they'd sent the FBI and whoever else in, it became a 0% crime
zero.
rate.
We have no crime ever whatsoever now, and it's because we have officers stationed on every street corner.
I just don't get what the point of this is, especially with like the Bureau of Labor Statistics person and all these other like statisticians that they're firing. It's like, okay, sure, you're lying about the numbers now, but the material and economic effects are still going to be there.
Yeah.
Like, people are going to know that you're lying to them. I guess they're just playing the short game. I don't know.
They're loudly lying too.
Yeah.
I saw an update on the new like jobs numbers, and I didn't even look at the jobs numbers because why would you? At this point, they're not going to matter. They're not going to be real. And a new guy, or maybe it was one of the administration officials, was presenting the numbers to Trump, and he said, we just found new data that had never been shown to anyone before that said that everything's better now.
Well, of course
he literally said, we found new data that no one's ever seen before.
Yeah.
How?
Of course he did.
How did you just find new data in like a 2-week span on the jobs numbers of the country?
Dude, there is a genuine problem when one political party doesn't believe in truth.
Yeah.
Like you can't have a functioning democracy if one party will just lie relentlessly if reality doesn't agree with them.
Fucking democracy. You can't even have functioning markets.
Yeah, of course.
You can't even have functioning markets in the way money moves. Yeah. When people who control those markets can't rely on like numbers that they at least pretend to care about.
It's never been more obvious. Yeah. It's so egregious. It's crazy.
Like they just get out here and they blatantly lie to you. They tell you they're lying to, all while telling you that the previous guy was the one that was actually lying to you and you should trust me, and force you to, I guess, rely on them if you're stupid.
Yeah.
If you don't have a brain between your skull. And then they go on and they just constantly do fear, and they constantly just up their rhetoric just over and over and over and over and over again. Really, you're telling me Trump on Truth Social is telling me that people in DC are just being murdered just fucking wantonly.
Yeah, like just it's a war zone right
all
now.
Over the place, just throwing this rhetoric out there. And he thinks that he can just get out there and like tweet it and that makes it true.
Yeah.
It's the goddamn Twitter finger president, dude. It's crazy. And it's like, speaking to like all this fear mongering and whatnot, I'm going to borrow a line from Omar El-Akkad again. In One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against Us, he has this line. He says, fear obscures the necessity of its causing. And it's like, if you accept the false premise, any implication that comes from that premise will necessarily be true. Yeah. And this is a fundamental tool of the fascists, and it's a fundamental tool of this administration, and it's how they are going to try and manufacture consent to do the things that they're doing. Mm-hmm. It's how they're going to try to get you to be okay with National Guardsmen being deployed against civilians in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, and possibly in other places. Yeah. He was asked if this could spread, and he said, yeah, maybe if we could do it.
Yeah, he was actively threatening like New York City and other
Chicago.
In Chicago, other major liberal cities, yeah.
And like, that's nuts. It's questionable whether or not he can even do this in DC when it comes to actually taking up the police force under section 740 of the Home
Rule Act or something like that,
or something like that. I don't know, more on that like next week when I have more time to learn and more information comes out. But it's just like, when Trump says that there are roving mobs of violent youth, drugged out people all over the street, and homeless people abound, the scary homeless people, then cherry picks pictures of murderers and describes what they did at a fucking press conference, what they're trying to do is manipulate and control you through fear.
Yeah.
They're not trying to be serious about anything. There's no serious policy proposal there. There is just, oh, look at this really scary guy.
Yeah, you should be skeptical if any politician says, like, there's roving gangs around one of the major U.S. cities.
Yeah.
Because you could just look it up and find out it's not true.
Dude, it's Washington, D.C. You can just go and look.
Yeah, you can just travel there.
You can just walk in. I have many times. I've been to D.C. Yeah. It's chill.
Yeah.
I was not fearful when I was in D.C., man. It's crazy. He said, quote, caravans of mass youth rampage through this city. Dog, that's crazy.
Just making shit up. Me when I lie, man.
Caravans of mass youth. It's like the fucking ASAP. Oh, God. The one video with the fucking bikes riding through New York. Mm-hmm. The fucking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like that. Just mass youths running through, just trying to rob you while you're out for a jog.
Like, what? What do you even say to this? It's just false.
You can't contend with it in any serious way. Yeah. You just have to look at it and like either laugh or be disgusted because they're using this to possibly do very bad things. And with all this fear mongering, you would think that crime in DC is at some all-time high, but surprise, surprise, it's not. In fact, in 2024, crime was at a 30-year low. And for 2025 specifically, according to the DC police, violent crime is down 26% from this point in 2025 compared to last year.
Yeah.
So we're already lower than we were for the 30-year low, making this, a 31-year low?
Yeah. And there was a spike in, I think, like murders and thefts and stuff like that in 2023. And a lot of conservatives were quick to blame it on the sort of like policing and sentencing reforms that had happened since 2016 in DC. But the issue with that line of thinking is that why would it have only taken effect in 2023?
Yeah.
Because they started making a bunch of reforms 2016 and onward. Crime continued to go down in DC, not anywhere near the high in like 1990 or whatever it was. And then it spiked in 2023 and went right back down in 2024 and now is still similarly low in 2025. And the only compelling explanation I've seen is that for some reason the dude that Biden appointed to be the DC Attorney General, like GM Piro's position, just like stopped prosecuting cases for a while. And I have no idea why he did that. I don't know if it was budget cuts or like something else was happening, but like he just wasn't prosecuting.
There are a lot of vacancies on the DC court right now, but also like, okay, the Biden's guy stopped prosecuting crime. Why did it only spike in 23?
Yeah.
Why was this not a sustained spike throughout now? Why is crime down now?
Especially at a time when other cities were doing similar things, like Chicago was making similar reforms, sometimes more dramatic reforms than those, and there wasn't a spike in crime. In fact, crime in like New York, Chicago, Detroit, major U.S. cities continued to go down in 2023 as well. I also think another explanation, because a lot of like kids are involved in like the carjackings and stuff, is like truancy rates.
Yeah.
COVID obliterated the brain of the high schooler.
It really did.
And truancy rates, I think, were at like 60% in some cases in DC. So people just weren't showing up for school and were fucking around, and I think that probably contributes to the issue.
While juvenile crime is an issue in DC, it's not something that's rising. Like juvenile crime is up 1% compared to last year.
Yeah.
That's it. That's not a meaningful issue. That's like 14 more cases.
Yeah. yeah.
like that's not a real thing to actually be concerned about. It's 1%. That's a margin of error. That's like a statistic. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's not something we should be shaping policy around.
And it's certainly not a reason to send in the fucking FBI and the National Guard
to
and all
crack
these other
down
groups.
on kids.
To crack down on kids.
Get rid of like sentencing reform so that we can keep kids in prison longer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Judge Janine was on there talking about at the press conference. We need to sentence kids to life in prison. We bring back the death penalty for kids.
That's insane.
You know what I like? Where does it end, dude? These people just want to punish, and they just want to tell you that they're punishing, and they don't want to think about the actual lives of the people that they're punishing. Mm-hmm. They just want to do it so they can pretend they're strong, so that they can feel better about themselves.
Yeah, there's no off ramp. Like, at what point do we stop locking up a bunch of kids if we start doing it right now?
Yeah,
it's not going to solve the problem.
It never has.
If anything, it's just going to create more kids that fucking hate the federal government.
We have an awful recidivism rate.
Yeah, like there's no reason to believe that this will help anything. It hasn't helped anything in the past. Broken windows policing was a fucking joke, and they want to do it all again.
Yes.
So that's bad.
That's really bad. And this stuff is really bad and condemnable. At the press conference, Trump spent a lot of time blaming this on zero cash bail. He's just blaming this on cashless bail reforms because he said somebody can murder somebody and then just get out the same day and go do it again.
Come on, man.
The cashless bail like discussion has infected conservatives' minds. Mm-hmm. People genuinely believe that you can go fucking kill somebody and then just like walk.
Cash bail, like you would have a cash bail posted if you were arrested for a crime that wasn't that serious.
Yeah.
If you went out and like a cop saw you murder somebody or you got arrested for potentially murdering somebody before your trial, they will hold you.
Exactly.
Like they won't let you leave. There won't be a bail posted because you potentially killed someone.
Judges aren't going. You're not appearing in front of a judge at your bond hearing and they're saying, "Oh, you shot somebody in daylight. Shot him in daylight."
Mm-hmm.
And then, "Oh, okay, walk though," because like that's chill.
Yeah.
They're not doing that. That's never been the case ever. Cash bail reform is for somebody who maybe just like got caught up in something, maybe did like a non-violent crime, got arrested, and doesn't have to sit in jail for the remainder of their time because they're not a danger of society while they await trial.
Or didn't even commit a crime. Is just accused of committing a crime,
and
right?
like having to pay for accused of being committed a crime, but like having to pay for bail in the first place is already stupid and just anti-poor.
Yeah. Because
then you have a system where a rich person can just get away with anything or do less jail time than a poor person just because they had money to begin with. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Poor people, it's fucking hard on crime on poor people, soft on crime on rich people. That's how it's always been.
Yeah, no, it's only a punishment for the poor, which doesn't really make much sense. And again, other places were doing this. I think Chicago made the change they're doing like zero cash bail.
Yeah, he called out Chicago. I think New York,
but
California.
Again, Chicago crime rates have gone down since the end of the pandemic.
Exactly.
Like it doesn't. They don't think about statistics here. They just make claims based on the number of homeless people they see and the number of black people they see in fucking pictures. Because these people don't actually visit the cities.
No. Oh, my God, no. They stay so far away from the cities. Unless it's New York where the Fox News guys live. And then they live in the good parts of the city and just lie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they live in the city because they like the city and they like what taxes have paid for in the city. And they like the infrastructure that the city offers them.
And the city, cool place.
And the city's a cool place. But then they like to hate on the city from their fucking ivory towers. And these are the people that don't take the subway. They drive.
Exactly. Driving in New York City, really.
Yeah.
Really. Okay, yeah. I think you're exempt from political commentary on the city and crime in the city if that's what you're doing. If you're unwilling to fucking step on the subway, it's ridiculous. But yeah, the previous stats guy got fired, so look forward to Trump issuing figures. Look forward to once the National Guard put boots on the ground in DC for Trump to say that there's literally 0% crime in all categories, and it's because the National Guard are deterring these pesky criminals from doing anything.
Yeah. it's coming soon.
And
it's coming soon.
It's the same thing as literally him saying that zero immigrants have crossed the border illegally in the last 3 months.
It's not even a believable lie.
Find me one person that believes that. Find me one regular person that genuinely believes that zero immigrants have crossed the border illegally. One, how do you know?
Yeah. Well, and I would have even been able to believe like a precipitous decline in attempted
for sure, because
like
that makes
illegal
sense.
immigration. Yeah. Because like people would have like seen that Trump was a president, seen what he's doing to undocumented immigrants, and they might have like been dissuaded from even trying to get into the United States. They're cracking down on the border. There's like more people at the border, at different border crossings. Like I would have believed if it had dropped down like even 100% decline since Biden.
Yeah.
But they said literally zero?
Like zero, like not a single one.
That's
zero.
That doesn't make sense. That's just not believable.
I can't wait till we genuinely get 0% crime in DC.
Yeah.
We have 0% carjacking in DC now. Or there'll be a massive wave of arrests and then it will be zero because they cracked down. They got literally every single criminal out of there. Fucked up.
Yeah.
Fucked up. And there's one criminal in one White House that we need to get
Oh,
out of there.
man.
Oh, man.
The city's currently occupied by criminals.
It's fucked up. It's fucked up. It really is, man. And it's just like Trump, he didn't shy away from using mass deportations as an example of how like successful he's been, not only with like our fucking National Guard in LA or National Guard on the border, just in general. And it's like, if that doesn't tell you kind of what we have in store that could happen in DC, I don't know what does. It's not looking good.
Yeah, no, I mean, this definitely is like, I've been sort of waiting for the Reichstag moment, you know what I mean? Like, when are they going to do the enabling act?
Yeah.
Type shit. And I feel like we're just sort of like inching our way towards there. I don't know how bad this is going to go. We've been sort of irreverent about it just because it's fucking, they're stupid and it's crazy.
Yeah.
But it genuinely could get very bad.
No, because we're in a precarious position right now, being the literal day that they announced it, where it's like boots aren't on the ground. We haven't seen what's going on. This could genuinely be nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing ever happens. I'm a big fan of nothing ever happening.
Look at the time, folks.
Especially like this. Look at the times. But like, there's a real possibility that National Guard is there. They just kind of post up at the park with the FBI and the DEA and don't really do anything. Crime continues on the trend that it's already been on and goes down. Trump takes credit for it. Then they get out in a couple months or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a real possibility that could happen. And then people can say, blah, 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 National Guard's so good. Look at all the liberals yelling, whatever. Same thing with the tariffs that are going right now. But there's also the reality where we're not far from actual like military checkpoints in DC.
Yeah. It could very well go either way. Like they could just do the thing where like a bunch of cops and ICE agents and whatnot marched through MacArthur Park just to look scary during the daytime as if they were going to catch a bunch of criminals there. Or they could fully try to lock down the city. I don't know what direction they're going to go. We'll kind of have to wait and see. But either way, that's probably hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer money being spent on this project that is likely for aesthetics.
Yeah, where are they going to lodge them?
Yeah. I don't know.
Where are they going to lodge them?
Well, and we know ICE morale has been low because they're showing up to cities where nobody fucking likes them to do stuff that nobody fucking likes.
Yeah, bro, it's going to kill National Guard morale.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen here.
National Guardsmen across the country just sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
Oh, there was another portion of this where I think Trump authorized other states, like governors of other states, to send their National Guardsmen in too.
Oh, that's
like
corny.
Like they can donate them too. So if you're in the Texas or Florida National Guard, it's not looking good for you, buddy.
You are absolutely getting deployed to DC,
it's
dude.
not looking good for you. You could be in DC in a moment's notice.
Ron DeSantis dreams about brutalizing people in a liberal city. You know what I mean? He hates
maybe
liberal
Eric
cities.
Adams will do it. He's like, we're sending National Guardsmen from New York to DC to get rid of the homeless problem. This is what we should be doing in New York City. Please vote for me.
That's another thing is like police crackdowns are bad enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
do they work?
Like essentially just a standing army on a civilian population. But
and
now
it is a standing army.
And now it's literally a standing army because we're sending people that aren't from DC, that don't live in DC, that probably haven't been to DC that often. We're sending them to DC, an area that they're not familiar with, to watch over a population that's going to be fucking angry at them.
Yeah, no, and it's like the issue exists on every scale of the problem too. Even when we're not having police crackdowns, when police come in from the Chicago suburbs to police Chicago and don't live in Chicago, they don't understand the community. They don't understand how things function. They're not good at policing those areas.
Yeah.
But when you have people that are from the community actually go out and want to do something good for the community, you have better outcomes. This is not anything like that.
Yeah, and that's all about like the practical application of the police.
Yeah.
Like in theory, I think policing is pretty bad. The system of policing itself is pretty bad in the United States, in the way that they like prioritize property over life and whatnot. But then practically, when the police actually go and do the job of policing, that shit sucks because they don't live there.
Yeah,
like you're going in and policing a population that you don't live with.
Yeah.
And
like,
now we're
like,
sending
in
National
theory,
Guard.
Like police could be good. Like something like a cop, something like law enforcement is fine. Because yeah, sure, enforce laws, have somebody can first respond to things. But in practice, we don't get that.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, that's fucking DC, folks.
That is DC.
I hate commercials.
Me too.
I hate listening to them. I hate when I hear them, whether it's on TV or on podcasts.
Grr, I just can't stand commercials.
They're the worst. And the one place you can go to avoid commercials, like this one you're listening to right now, is patreon.com/headintheofficepod. Become a patron, and you get early access to our episodes, and they're all completely commercial free. No more interruptions.
And you could be one of our friends.
And that's arguably the more important point.
And, you know, in trying times like this, friendship is what we really need.
Friendship's really important, and you can buy your way into being a friend of ours by heading over to patreon.com/headintheofficepod. Again, early access to episodes, no commercials, access to all of our content before anyone else sees it. Become a patron. And we're going to go from D.C., small place with no congressional representation in any meaningful way, and we're going to zoom out.
We're going to zoom out, and then we're going to zoom in.
Yeah, we're zooming out, and we're going to go over to the Middle East. We're going to go to one of a state that gets quite a bit of representation in the United States Congress.
That's right.
We're talking about Israel.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely talking about Israel. So last time we spoke, Israel and Gaza, we discussed the intentional campaign of starvation that was being conducted by Israel and the failure of the U.S. to really do anything about it. Trump said like, oh, yeah, it looks like kids are starving. That's bad. And then did nothing, essentially. So that's cool.
That's sick. What a government we have here.
Since then, Israel has said that they are pausing fighting in some areas of Gaza to allow aid in, and the UN and other international organizations said they are, quote, falling catastrophically short of what is needed to stop fast accelerating starvation there. So too little too late, I think, is the scenario we find ourselves in.
I saw a clip of the Doctors Without Borders CEO talking about how there is a starvation crisis happening in Gaza right now on ABC News with George Stephanopoulos. And then like she's going on this minutes long just tirade about how horrible things are, how there's even like aid workers that can't get consistent food every day and they're eating every other day. And then George Stephanopoulos goes, "Oh yeah, it's crazy. Did you see those pictures the pictures of the hostages?"
Oh my!
And then, dude, that's not even the worst part. He said, "Do you see the pictures of the hostages? It's a war crime to release those images, isn't it?" And then the Doctors Without CEO's Border said, "To release the pictures?"
But like, what do you expect if Israel's starving them? Then of course the hostages starve too.
The out of touches of it's a war crime to release those pictures of the hostages, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not to fucking starve the entire strip out. I digress.
Why would it be a war crime to release the pictures?
I don't know. Maybe it has to do with something about like pictures of hostages and
that dude deserves to be in the Hague just for saying that.
Maybe it's like
dude.
showing that you're treating hostages poorly or like some shit like that. But it's like you're starving the entire strip.
Yeah. Why would you think that like the little bit amount of food that does get in goes right to the hostages? Yeah. Obviously not.
That's just
especially because the Israeli narrative is that Hamas is taking it all.
That's never how anything's ever worked ever.
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough. I think the hostages should be fed just like how I think everyone in the strip should be fed.
Yeah.
And that's where that conversation starts and ends.
Hot take. People should eat. Everybody should eat. Everybody should eat. Israel's also been airdropping aid in, which is dangerous because people could get crushed under the shipments. Also extremely inefficient.
Nice.
Because you can only do a little bit at a time. They've also blamed the United Nations for not getting food aid in, which is crazy because they were the ones that denied the UN access to Gaza.
And I'm sure they're controlling the border tightly.
Of course.
They're controlling every single crossing tightly, holding trucks for hours just like they used to because, I don't know, they had sugar.
Yeah, no, there's UN trucks that have tried to get into Gaza that were turned away. Like they just can't get in.
They probably had medical equipment. They probably had a scalpel in there.
Yeah, they had one syringe.
Hamas could use this.
Yeah, exactly. All of this, of course, has been done under the pretext that Hamas is quote unquote stealing aid, which Israel itself admitted there was no evidence of. Also, brief point on this: if Hamas was stealing food aid, you could fix that by making sure that food aid isn't scarce.
Exactly.
Because then they can't scalp the aid if everyone's got some.
Yeah, no, yeah, that is the part. Because if Hamas is taking the little aid that gets in and selling it at a premium, why don't you just flood the zone?
Yeah.
Why don't you just let more aid in? What if you took care of the people of Gaza so that they would not have to rely on Hamas in the first place as a means of resistance or governance in the first place?
Yeah, no, that's too much though. That's anti-Semitic to say that, man. That's too far. In some other bad news, the Israel Security Cabinet has approved a plan to fully occupy the Gaza Strip. This is something that we knew was coming for a long time.
Yeah.
But now they have like formally, legally recognized that this is what they're about to do. Netanyahu did his rounds on American media explaining their goal to occupy the Gaza Strip. From the BBC, quote, the plan lists 5 objectives: disarming Hamas, returning all hostages, demilitarizing the Gaza Strip, taking security control of the territory, and establishing an alternative civil administration that is neither Hamas nor the Palestinian Authority.
What the Palestinian Authority do?
Oh, I actually don't know.
What the fuck
What
is
did
that?
the PA do? I'm sure there's some claim against them. That's some dumb shit.
The PA governs the West Bank, don't they?
Even worse though, quote, reports in Israeli media say the plan initially focuses on taking full control of Gaza City, relocating its 1 million residents further south.
How much further south?
Yeah, exactly. Forces would also take control of refugee camps in central Gaza and areas where hostages are thought to be held. A second offensive would follow weeks later in parallel with a boost to humanitarian aid, media say.
Dude,
So never-ending war. You know, never-ending war and
yeah.
occupation. And Netanyahu said on Fox News, by the way, that their goal isn't to permanently occupy the Gaza Strip. I am skeptical of this because, like, why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Just occupy it seems like a lot of people in the Israeli war cabinet want them to occupy the Gaza Strip. They've been bombing innocent people for almost 2 years at this point. They want to relocate them all probably out of Gaza, out of Israel's territory entirely. Why
Trump
wouldn't
has
they do
been
it?
saying he wants to occupy the Gaza Strip.
Yeah.
Trump said at the White House this week something on the lines of relocating all the people in Gaza and taking over the territory under American authority. Not like that it would be American territory, but just because he can. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, and I don't see why they wouldn't do it. It'd be costly militarily. A lot of IDF soldiers would probably die in the process, but I don't think they fucking care. I think they want to do anything and everything to kick Palestinians out of the territory in which they live.
And it's like, it's not like they don't have like a history, I don't know, in an area to the west of just constantly encroaching and taking more and more territory.
That was my other point is like, okay, if they don't fully occupy Gaza, then how does it not just end up being West Bank too?
Yeah.
Like, because that's what it'll be. Like, okay, you re-secure the perimeter around Gaza, and it's under the rule of something else, not the PA, not Hamas, whatever. It's just going to be the West Bank again. You're going to have the IDF pull up, say, oh, we got to move the fence for a military installation, so you got to move out of your house. And then 2 weeks later, a couple from New York moves in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's all it's going to be. So just bad. A lot of people came out against the idea of occupation, but like if the U.S. isn't going to do anything about it, it's going to happen.
And it's also just like you run through the entire strip. You verify all 2 million residents or however many people are actually left over after the genocide that's gone on. Yeah. And you're trying to tell me that you don't think Hamas 2 is going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're trying to tell me that even if you can completely eradicate Hamas, there still won't be a craving amongst the people who have been the most brutal victims of this genocide to like fight back. However, like right or not that idea is that not something that's gonna happen? Like me saying this is not an endorsement of that happening. It's not an endorsement of terror. It's not an endorsement of Hamas. In fact, I condemn Hamas.
Oh, you're big on that.
You're heavy on condemning Hamas. I condemn Hamas every episode. Let that fly. I condemn Hamas. But once again, this is about understanding like the sociological structures that brought Hamas here in the first place. One of those structures being a guy named Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah, directly.
One of those structures literally being a man named Benjamin Netanyahu because he wanted to undermine the authority of the PLO and didn't want them to win. So he funneled money to Hamas and gave more work permits like to Hamas and whatever. So
specifically because the PLO wanted a peaceful 2-state solution and they were getting close to building support for that. And then Hamas won a plurality of the election in 2006 and has been the governing authority ever since.
The governing authority of a population where 50% of the people were not alive to vote in that election. Had not even been born yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like the situation's kind of fucked, man. And if people did support the more violent arms of Hamas rather than just like the Gaza Health Ministry and whatnot, why would they not want to support Hamas too that comes out of the rubble here? Why would the child who's now the only person left in their family not think, oh man, I really don't like these people. Maybe I'll do something radical.
Yeah, no.
Like,
It's the only endpoint here, because it's not like they're going to rebuild Gaza City and have Palestinians move back in and pay reparations or fucking whatever. No, they're going to just try to exterminate these people, and that will just encourage more radicalization against Israel, and they're doing it to themselves.
And that's fucked up.
And I condemn
Hamas, and I condemn it on both sides.
Uh-huh.
I condemn Hamas, and I can condemn Hamas because in the violence of October 7th, because I also condemn the violence that's happened since October 7th. Just had to get that out there.
Yeah, no, because a lot of the pretext for this, or just like for anything Israel does, is like Jewish people deserve the right to self-determination, therefore anything and everything is justified that we do against the Palestinian people. I saw some video clip the other day where someone was essentially explaining, like, after the horrors of the Holocaust, there was an understandable drive to build a place where Jewish people could feel safe, right? Like that was an understandable inclination. But it turns out that trauma doesn't necessarily give you moral clarity, it just makes you traumatized.
Yeah.
And even if you're a member of a group that has been historically discriminated against, which Jewish people have, of course, that doesn't mean that once you get into power, you won't also use that power to do horrible things.
And that's the anti-Semitic take.
That's being a human.
Exactly.
That's being a person, right? Like, if you are given power and you're given a very powerful narrative, then yeah, you will probably do bad shit. And it has nothing to do with being Jewish or being Palestinian or being any kind of person with any kind of background. It just has to do with being a human being.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
That does
and you
suck.
shouldn't do bad things to innocent people with power.
You should do good things instead, because they're good.
You should do good things like free bus.
Free bus. Precisely.
Imagine if instead of bombs, Netanyahu was like, free bus.
Oh, that'd be pretty
That'd
good.
be cool.
And instead of Palestinians drive on one road, Israelis drive on another, they had one road with a free bus.
Yeah, one road with free bus. Yeah, exactly.
That'd be much better than the situation we have.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not what we're getting, and we do have some more bad news out of Israel. So, moreover, Israel recently killed multiple Al Jazeera journalists, and I do say killed because they have admitted to doing it purposefully. This was an intentional strike. They are not trying to say that, like, Hamas actually launched the rocket or Hamas was using them as human shields. This is them saying that they purposefully killed these journalists. Anas El-Sharif, a prominent journalist for Al Jazeera, and 4 other journalists that were with him, his staffers, were killed in a tent outside of the Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza City a couple of days ago. Israel has claimed that El-Sharif, of course, was a member of Hamas. From Reuters, quote, the Israeli military said in a statement that El-Sharif headed a Hamas cell and was responsible for advancing rocket attacks against Israeli civilians and IDF troops, citing intelligence and documents found in Gaza as evidence. It has not made these documents public, though.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic. I've seen that this evidence is very much contested. It is contested. Nobody else had any inkling of an idea that this had been a thing.
Yeah, no, it's like when they accused like a dozen people in UNRWA of being Hamas and then got the entirety of UNRWA kicked out of the Gaza Strip.
Exactly.
It's nonsense.
And you can just say that anyone is Hamas.
Especially when they're Arab.
And just putting this into context of what's going on in the Gaza Strip, journalists are still not allowed to let in. International media is not let in unless they are under the escort of the IDF.
Yeah.
That's it. The only people that are actually able to report on what's happening in Gaza are Gazans. It is Palestinians. It's Palestinian journalists who live there, like this guy that was just killed.
Yeah.
So
Intentionally.
When you intentionally target the journalist, it's very much saying we don't want this information to get out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he was on the ground reporting inside of Gaza, and Israel has a track record of killing journalists, right?
Yeah, that was like one of the first things they did post October 7th is they bombed a bunch of houses.
Yeah, and they usually like hand wave it away or like, say Hamas is using them as human shields or whatever. But here they directly said like, no, yeah, we killed this guy.
Yeah.
And we meant to kill this guy. And that sucks. There was international condemnation of this, but a lot of Western leaders, especially in the U.S., like can't be bothered to say anything because it's Al Jazeera, and Al Jazeera is related to the Qatari government.
Yeah.
And because it's related to the Qatari government and because the name of it is Al Jazeera, a lot of, especially white people in the Western world
sounds
can just
Arab, and that means it must be terrorist.
Yeah, they can just say like, oh, then it must be Hamas because it's Al Jazeera, right?
Yeah.
So that sucks, and it's yet another tragedy directly caused by the Israeli government.
Crazy.
Yeah. Finally, In news out of Israel on this geopolitical section, 24 Democrats visited Israel and the West Bank this week, led by Hakeem Jeffries and Steny Hoyer. This comes after a group of Republicans last week visited Israel, and while Jeffries did claim that they're meeting with Israeli officials and Palestinians, I find it sort of hard to believe because Hakeem Jeffries got $800,000 in AIPAC funding.
I think he was like the 5th top guy that they donated to.
In 2024, and the trip itself was funded by AIPAC. So you'll have to forgive me if I don't believe that you're doing anything constructive here. To visit Israel right now is just inexcusable.
Oh no, that's Nuremberg shit right there.
Yeah, you are fully complicit in what's going on. I understand Republicans are going to do this because Republicans are fundamentally evil.
Exactly.
But like the Democrats are supposed to be the ones that have like some sense of morality. And going and visiting at this time, even though it's like a yearly trip that always happens anytime there's like freshman House members, it's still a thing that you should not do.
Why is that a thing?
Well, because Israeli-U.S. Relationship, of course, it's an ally.
Because it's our strongest ally. And sometimes when your ally and strongest friend are having bad moments, you need to put your arm around them and figure out how we're going to get through this together, like what Pete Buttigieg said.
Oh my fucking God, dude.
Pete Buttigieg absolutely speed running, losing like any ounce of credibility that he had as a guy who can be moral.
He cannot be the nominee for 2028.
No, he can't. He
has thoroughly demonstrated that he has no idea how to handle these issues with the base he has.
That's literally what he said. That is almost a quote verbatim. Yeah. The statement that I just said, what he said when it has to deal with the Israel-Palestine situation right now.
Yeah.
This is after he said, I think there are valid fears on both sides of the trans women in sports debate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like to say that and to say the thing about Israel just demonstrates that you have no idea what the fuck you're doing.
You cannot catch a vibe.
You cannot catch a vibe. You have no answers. You cannot meet this moment. And to me, that probably means he's going to be the nominee. Democrats are going to choose him, man.
Meeting the moment is inversely correlated with how likely you are to become the presidential nominee.
It's a fucked up world we live in,
It is.
Anyways, so I learned that AIPAC either every 2 years or every year funds a trip for House members of both parties to go and visit Israel. It's like they have like the freshman members of the House go and visit, and they probably do something with senators too. I don't know, but
yeah, I'm sure.
So it's like an all expenses paid type shit.
I feel like every month there's a senator or House person on a trip to Israel.
Yeah, or they greet some Israeli official here. Like Cory Booker did with Booker and a bunch of other people did when Netanyahu came to town.
I still cannot believe Cory Booker fucking screaming on the House floor talking about how it's so bad in Gaza right now, people are starving, and then he goes and takes a picture with Netanyahu smiling, chopping it up. How can you
fucking fraud, dude.
How can you be so empty? Oh my God, man.
And then he reposted a post from a creator that I think we're mutuals with. I can't remember her username on Instagram right now, but he reposted a video of her, and she was basically, the video that she was making was not about Israel, but it was about like, when can we allow people to come back to our side if they've been wrong on issues before?
Yeah.
He just reposted the entire thing to his own page, and it's like, you're a senator, man.
Like, dog,
you are a United States. You have all the information available to you.
Exactly. And you're like one of the people who we shouldn't let into the movement ever, even if they do change, because you should be primaried and replaced with somebody because you have power. When we're having these discussions about letting people into the tent, I feel like personally when I'm having those discussions, it's about letting like normal people who don't have the time to pay attention to the news like we do in.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
People who otherwise mean well but just happen to be ignorant.
Because the original point of the video is that like, the left purity tests too much.
Yeah.
And the right will celebrate people from coming over to their side no matter what. But she's not talking about senators. Like senators are held to a higher standard. You know what I mean? You're a fucking senator. You're supposed to be better than that.
I wonder if Cory Booker's ever seen one of our things.
Definitely seen one of our things. That's what I like to believe.
Exactly.
Anyways, that wraps it up on Israel and Gaza, the geopolitical section for this week. Shit sucks.
Shit sucks everywhere.
Shit sucks bigly. Only thing we can hope is that like this issue is big for 2026 and 2028, and it disqualifies motherfuckers like Pete.
Oh my God.
Do not
people
have a
like
sense
Pete,
for what people want.
People like Alyssa Slotkin.
Yeah.
People like really anybody.
Yeah. Moving on, though, we got to talk about real quick on a more lighthearted note, because we've been talking about bad shit all episode.
Yup.
I want to talk about Cuomo.
Okay.
We talked about Cuomo last week, how he's working with Trump.
Yep.
I was directly working with Donald Trump. And he was sort of crashing out over the weekend because his opponent is goated with the sauce, Zoran Mamdani, Mr. Free Bus.
Well, because I saw Mr. Free Bus posted a video talking about Andrew Cuomo working with Trump, and he's like, got his ass.
Yeah. He's Zoran's been going off. He just recently got Elizabeth Warren's support, which I think is like I don't know to what extent that's a key constituency nowadays, but like it's always good to see another Democrat support Zoran. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Another person that's like closer to the establishment. But Cuomo his staff seemingly gave him the Twitter fingers this week because it seems like this came straight from him. I've got 2 statements from Andrew Cuomo himself, and I want to read them. And these are direct attacks on Zoran, and I think are indicative of how he's going to be attacking him until November.
Is this in the same vein as when either Cuomo himself or Cuomo Aligned Super PAC made Zoran's beard bigger and darker?
No, they're not going after him racially this time. I mean, those will probably. Well, actually, they kind of do go after him racially here.
Fucking
but
God,
it's
dude.
not the same thing.
Democrats can't stop themselves from being racist as soon as they get outflanked from the left. Like, oh my God!
As soon as you threaten the establishment, it's extreme racism. They become Republicans. But this is the quote. This is a tweet from Andrew Cuomo's Twitter account, and it's sort of long, but bear with me. It's a gold mine. Let me tell you. He said, "Somewhere last night in New York City, a single mother and her children slept at a homeless shelter because of you, Assemblyman Zoran Mamdani. Because you, Assemblyman Zoran Mamdani, are occupying her rent-controlled apartment. You already a banger, man.
Doesn't he pay like $2,300 a month in rent?
Yeah. Well, let's get into it. You grew up rich and married, an even wealthier woman. You've had weddings on 3 continents. You own property in LGBTQIA plus murderous Uganda. You make $142,000 a year plus stipends, and your wife works too, meaning you together likely make well over $200,000. No matter which way you cut it, Zoran Mamdani is a rich person. You are actually very rich. Yet you and your wife pay $2,300 a month. As you have bragged, for a nice apartment in Astoria. That should be housing for someone who needs it. We are in the middle of a historic affordability crisis. Millions of low-income New Yorkers need this apartment and an apartment like it, yet your apartment remains rented to rich people who don't need it. Today, I am calling on you to move out immediately and give your affordable housing back to an unhoused family who needs it. Leaders must show moral clarity. Time to move out."
They really are just Republicans. Really are just Republicans. And it's funny, the way Cuomo invokes the affordability crisis and says, "Oh, you're a hypocrite for living in rent-controlled housing despite making all this money," when I think he's just guessing on those figures. Am I wrong?
No, I think Zoran publicly said.
Yeah, but how much his wife has?
Oh, no, I don't know about that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think he's just guessing on that figure. Either way, Zoran's probably doing fine for himself in New York City and whatnot. Whether or not he necessarily needs a rent-controlled apartment, that's whatever. Cuomo wants to increase rent.
Yeah.
Zoran wants to freeze it. Mm-hmm. I think that's living your values right there.
And the argument is that Zoran wants to freeze rent for himself.
It's already frozen.
Well, it's already...
because he's in a rent-controlled apartment, so he freezes rents in rent-controlled apartment. Yeah.
But if he's elected mayor, he'll live in the mayor's residence.
He won't be living in...
He won't live in Astoria.
He will move out of Astoria when he's elected mayor.
Well, and the funniest part is that this entire quote... This is all a quote tweet of another article that somebody was screenshotting. Zoran did an interview and was asked about the subject of the rent freeze. And as a part of his answer, he's explaining that when he moved into his current apartment, he was making $47,000 a year. And he intends to move out. He doesn't want to stay there forever. So at the time, he was the kind of person that would need this apartment, especially in New York City.
$47,000 a year in New York City is nothing.
And $2,300 for rent. Yeah. And he's been open and honest about the fact that yes, my mother is very successful. Yes, my father was very successful. I'm a privileged person.
Yeah.
He's never lied about that.
Dude, that tweet really is a gold mine. It's so funny how people who are ostensibly Democrats like Andrew Cuomo will weaponize identity politics or cultural issues in any way possible, in any cynical way, in ways that maybe even demean the group that they're trying to represent, just to get one over on their opponent. Mm-hmm. With an LGBTQI hating Uganda, come on, brother, really?
He's just from Uganda.
Brother can't go home?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's that one was good.
Cuomo, you pay $7,300 a month in New York City for rent.
Yeah, well, and that's the funniest part is he's going out and he's saying to Zoran that you are pretending to be a member of the working class, but in reality you're super duper rich, right? That's the line of attack. And then Cuomo, This is the next tweet, back to back. He posted this one directly after the previous one. He said, quote, "In case you forgot, I'm Andrew Cuomo, son of Mario, grandson of Andrea. Welcome to the heavyweight bout, Zoran Mamdani. This is a two-man race. You look tired already. It's just the second round."
He fucking That's the corniest shit I think I've ever read. I think I've ever listened to with my own 2 ears, brother. What the fuck, son of Mario? What is this?
And Mario Cuomo was the governor
He's
before.
from a political dynasty.
Yes. And then he said, "This is a two-man race and you already look tired. What happened in the first round?" What happened in the first round, Cuomo? Did you lose?
It's also a 3-man race.
Yeah.
Realistically,
yeah.
Eric Adams might spoil you, Cuomo.
Yeah. So Cuomo was having a banger over the weekend. He also recently posted some shit like, "I'm going to pass Zoran's law when I'm elected mayor, and that will basically means test rent subsidized rent or whatever it's called."
Oh, so he's doing the Kamala Harris thing where it's like, I'm just going to take the policies that are polling well.
Yeah. Well, no, but he said he's going to. I can actually see if I can pull it up here. Bro was having a rager over the weekend.
Really,
Cuomo was just going.
Candidates
off.
Cannot have their own Twitter.
No,
they just immediately implode. I swear to God, man, it's not that hard to be in touch.
Anyway, can't find it, but yeah, bro was having a banger.
What a fucking guy, man.
And then he said about the DC stuff that if Zoran's elected mayor, that he'll get run over by Trump.
Oh, for sure.
Because Trump's going to try to do this to New York City.
Well, Andrew won't get run over by Trump because he'll be in the car with him.
Yeah, he'll be assisting the effort with Donald Trump. Shout out Andrew Cuomo, and I figure we can have a good laugh about Cuomo.
We can have a good laugh. That's a funny guy right there.
Yeah.
You know, not in kind of the things he did in his past. The guy,
I
don't know, disgraced from politics, which didn't last very fucking long.
Uh-huh.
It's just, We've talked for a long time about how like New York and like California party politics are hell and awful and so bad, and no real change seems like it comes out of these places because they're so blue that they can just get away with anything as long as they have a D in front of their name. Mm-hmm. And this is the perfect example of that. Andrew Cuomo is that personified, right? Yeah. He is a guy that pretends to be a Democrat, that is willing to cynically weaponize cultural issues, any of the things that, I don't know, make Democrats, just to get one over on a guy who's more left than him. Mm-hmm. Some would say even slightly more left than him. Oh my goodness.
No, Cuomo, he was disgraced for 4 years, and now he's back on the scene.
And now he's back, and if he would have won the primary, he would have been endorsed by the Democratic Party.
100%,
It would not have mattered.
Yeah.
Like, nothing matters.
Andrew Cuomo sucks, and I'm glad to see him spiraling.
I am too.
Yeah.
And, you know, while we're on the topic of people who are colluding with the other side, I guess, and just, like, embracing them for no real reason at all, I want to end the episode today talking about Jimmy Fallon.
I never found him funny.
I'll say it when he gets on there and he just gets on and he laughs at literally anything they say, and then he slaps the table. He just
He's not a funny guy. I'll say it right now.
I'll also say I don't get late night comedy. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't get these late night shows. I used to like Seth Meyers on Weekend Update. That was cool.
I like Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart's funny.
Jon Stewart's cool.
Yeah, that's right.
I
like John Oliver.
John Oliver, yeah.
But
John
I
Oliver's
wouldn't call those guys like late night.
But
like,
that's what they do, though.
Is
right?
Jon Stewart having like guests on all the time? Like celebrities
I think
and shit?
he does.
See, I'm unfamiliar with Jon Stewart's game.
I only watch like the fucking the monologue or whatever that Jon Stewart does every once in a while.
I don't know.
The John Oliver episodes are genuinely very good.
John Oliver I wouldn't call late night. It's like on late at night, but that's like a politics show. It's not like a late night comedy show. It's a funny politics show.
Yeah.
That's what that is. But
they do deep dives.
Yes, but like your Jimmy Kimmels, your Jimmy Fallons, your whatnot that are like, I don't like Trump, blah, 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 blah. Either way, Jimmy Fallon out here, I don't like Trump, yada, yada, yada in his monologues. And then he goes and guess who he has on his show?
Who?
Greg Gutfeld, the world's unfunniest man.
Making it even worse. Comedy sucks.
Conservative comedian Greg Gutfeld, the king of late night because he's got the highest rated late night show because it's on Fox and he has the entire conservative audience captured because he's the one conservative late night comic. And I say conservative first and I say conservative harder because he is a conservative first, Greg Gutfeld. He's not funny.
No, not at all,
I will never fall for the Greg Gutfeld is funny propaganda. The only thing this guy does is he gets on there and he makes jokes. air quotes, and he's just edgy. He just makes edgy jokes, whatever. He just says the not PC thing. He says what you can't say anymore, and he's the epitome of an anti-woke comedian, and they're fucking hacks.
And he was doing that thing recently that we talked about on the show, is like, what's up, my Nazi?
Yeah.
Like, that shit sucks,
like,
man.
brother, that's the lamest thing I've ever heard.
It's so embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. You're like 50 years old doing this shit too.
Yeah.
Pack it up, old man.
Like, take it to a publisher, dog.
Please don't. I don't want to. He's not fucking funny, and he's a conservative first. So Jimmy Fallon has him on his show as a guest, just like invites him out there. Jimmy Fallon, like, not a Trump guy, a Democrat guy. They don't talk about politics at all, and it's like, I don't expect Jimmy Fallon to like do politics all the time. Yeah. I don't expect really any of these late night guys that talk about Trump like that in their opening monologues to do politics with their guests, because that's not what they're for. But you're having conservative comedian Greg Gutfeld on. Having conservative comedian Greg Gutfeld on as just a comedian and not talking about politics and the conservative nature of his commentary is like having Heinrich Himmler on as a guy who does logistics and not a guy who's a Nazi.
Yeah, so what's it like organizing all that?
That's really interesting. Like, wow, can you share a fun anecdote about your time doing that?
How do you balance this with family responsibilities?
It's fucking insane, dude.
Just giving a platform for free.
For free.
Yeah, Greg Abbott's or not fucking Greg Abbott. Greg Gutfeld is already like everybody knows him.
Exactly.
So it's not like necessarily platforming, but it's like, what?
You're saying washing him.
Yeah, what are you doing?
You're saying washing him. You're saying washing the things that he advocates for. You're saying washing his role with Fox News, which is just state-run media, of washing Trump's image and making it seem like all the things that Trump is doing is cool. When we invite these conservative media figures into these spaces, these neutral spaces, which is pretty much what late night comedy is when you're not Greg Gutfeld on his unfunny show or whatever, you are inviting an audience of regular people to see them and think, oh, maybe that's not so bad.
Yeah.
Maybe this guy's not so bad. And then it leads you to think maybe what this guy believes isn't so bad. The things that Greg Gutfeld espouses are awful.
Like, what the fuck was like the Fallon staff thinking?
I don't know.
Like, a ratings low or something? You think like turning conservative will help?
I think genuinely they're scared of what happened to the Colbert Report, and they think we need to be seen as less partisan. I think there's going to be a shift in media that we see, specifically media like that's more opinionated, that is more conservative or more willing to hear out conservative viewpoints because they're scared of the FCC censoring them.
Yeah, that's crazy. State censorship is forcing media to change. It's like everything they accuse Biden of being.
Exactly. We're getting DEI white guys. We're literally getting DEI white guys. That's why Greg Gutfeld was up there. Greg Gutfeld is not up there because he's like an actual funny comedian. Greg Gutfeld was up there because he's a conservative white guy. Yeah. And people feel like that voice is being silenced despite them being the most powerful people in the country right now.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man. What a terrible world. Just a bad world on this episode, man.
I'm saying, yeah. So that's fucked.
Yeah, that's real bad.
That's fucked.
That's real bad.
That's not fun. In other news, Tariff,
yeah. No, tariffs have been popping off. I keep thinking, like, people keep saying, like, oh, other shoes about to drop. Like, prices are about to go up. It is true that a bunch of companies last quarter took a major hit in profits because of these tariffs. And I think right now a lot of companies are trying to sort of like eat the revenue loss in tariffs because they don't think it's going to be a long-term thing. So they don't want to jack up prices temporarily, at least like in a lot of these major companies like Ford and whatnot. But people keep saying it's happening soon.
But they will. They can't eat it forever.
And maybe it will happen soon. I don't fucking know. But tariff on, tariff off.
Tariff on, tariff off. Yeah, the China tariff deadline is tonight, Monday night, as the time of this recording. So who knows by the time the Wednesday welfare people get it. Tariff could be on, tariff could be off. I genuinely don't know. It's probably going to be off.
Might be a 90-day pause.
We're getting another 90-day pause.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get Steve Witkoff or Howard Nutlick or I can't even keep him straight anymore. Whatever one of the guys is that does the tariff thing is going to say no more extensions. And then we're going to get another extension in 90 days.
Extension, or like Besson or whatever the fuck. Yeah, no, one of those jokesters. So I figure we would say some shit about tariff. So
yeah,
there's tariff.
Tariff news.
Who knows what's going to happen?
When the tariffs do hit, they're going to hit big. Because it's like we could have had a situation where the tariffs kind of gradually set into different industries. And now it's like the way that everyone is just absorbing costs right now. As soon as tariff news solidifies, it's going to be tariff on and it's going to be tariff on bigly.
Yeah. So we'll fucking see.
We'll see.
We'll fucking see. That brings us to the end of our beautiful, glorious, wonderful episode.
Yes, it does.
And as such, we have to thank
our beautiful, glorious, wonderful patrons.
The people who make it possible.
The people who get the Monday Mandate. The Thursday thought leaders that keep the conversation going.
Truth.
We got to give a special thanks to Caden Kraut, Chris the Postman, Christy Beck, Mike Chaplinsky, Clayton LaFed, Mark Yeager, Caleb Joy, Rich Toro, Tari, Fergalaki, Max Vasquez, Jacob Rogers, Colin Blueberry, Fixer Punk, Jim Egbers, Big Burritos, Tinsy Uggs, Joe Centrum, Adrian Sandoval, Chloe Sam 601, Colleen Cuts, Jennifer DeVoe, Croft Vision, Bennett Bennington III, Alexia Benatti, Big Booty Beatdown, Sam Maloney, Ted Cruz's Boy Toy, Dictator Jace, Luke O'Shea, Cocker Charleston, Danielle Jackson, The Word of Microsoft, Jennifer Science, Aaron and his Gundam Gundams, Darth Father, Taylor for Content, Corey Chambers, Retro Mondo, Veronica, aka V, Raxon, Ash Smith, The Grotler, Murder in a Trench Coat, Casey Lynn Kelly, AK God, Iguanodon, Zach Lantian, Austin Greif, Marcus Corbett, Caleb Roper, Taylor Rensock, Cammy, Tylen Freeman, Isaac Hodges, Madeline C., Anna Valenic, KCC, Say Yes to West, August Particular, Pickman, Sir Capalot, Jeff Signs, Brenda's Egg, Froggy Gumdrop,
Jackie Boy, Shameless, Coherent Babbles, MJ Sharp, Michaela Muncie, The Wallace 3000, Chris T, Kashan Lala, Amanda R, Tyler J, Particulon, Memfrez, Ron Stiletto, Midwest Marxist, Joe the Mailman, Gare from West Michigan, Shawnee GG, Juniper Not Jupiter, Stacked Crabs, I Crowley, Urban Peach, Lord of Forlorn, Holt Forsyth, Booty Snakes, Dew Fairy, Chelceratops, Austin Lima, Lane Waltz, Azim Fida Hussein, Gorgeous Girl Mukes, Brooklyn G, Noverk the Dastardly, Goldthorn, Addy Book, Merlin, Cryoboggy, Sergeant Pookie, Hoodie, Kim Kits Rocky, Rose Grimm, Kristen, Jamie the Young Extremist, Jack the Heathen, Archer W, Evan Mingo, AJ Torres, Elo Nico, Jake Hall, Seth Schmidt, Noah Sajas, Majawa, Ultra the Dragon, Mercy Boku, Dick Cheney and 6 Inch Heels, Luke Wechter, Henry Kraggles, Tristan Ringsmith, Yaya, Asura the Atheist, Aiden Reese, Deep State Agent, Puddle Pirate, Joshua Franklin, Southern Lefty, Lark 61, KC, Cannon Man, Trey H, Rock Muffalo, Nahan San Diego, Nutmo, Nick from New Haven, Connor Nick, Sound Logic, Sleven, the person I've never made a woman orgasm or whatever in my mouth. Thank you all so much for supporting us on Patreon.
Have a great week.
It's a lot of patrons.
That's a lot of patrons. I can't believe like 2 years ago I was like, oh, this list is getting kind of long. Now it's light work.
Now a light work could be longer.
A light work to me, exactly. I could read so many more names.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Make sure to put yours on the list.